All right, so are you ready to dive into some serious phone tech today?
Always ready.
Awesome, because we're looking at this Infinix Note 10 Pro.
Okay.
It's a mid-range phone, and we've got this really in-depth review from rechargemitopup.com.
Nice.
And I think it'll be interesting to see if this phone can actually deliver like a premium experience without that, premium price tag.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing that's really fascinating these days is how manufacturers are kind of like squeezing all these high-end features into these more affordable phones.
Right.
The lines are definitely getting blurry,
Yeah.
which is good.
It is good.
Yeah, it means you have more options
Exactly.
without, breaking the bank.
Yeah. And speaking of options,
Yeah.
this Infinix, it's got a massive display.
Yeah.
6.95 inches.
Wow.
It's practically a tablet,
Yeah.
but it's not just about the size, right?
Right.
It's also got a 90 hertz refresh rate.
Uh-huh.
So for someone who's maybe, used to a typical phone screen, how would that 90 hertz refresh rate feel different?
Imagine you're scrolling through your Instagram feed and everything is just gliding so smoothly.
Oh.
Like there's no stuttering or choppiness.
Okay.
That's what that 90 hertz refresh rate does.
Nice.
Just makes it so much more responsive. And it's great for gaming.
Oh, yeah, especially for gaming. Okay,
Oh.
so we've got a nice big smooth screen,
Uh-huh.
but a phone's also got to have, the brains to back it up.
Of course, the power.
This one's running on a MediaTek Helio G95 processor.
Okay.
Now, I know some people, maybe they haven't heard of MediaTek.
Right?
So what does that mean, like, for everyday use? What does that processor do?
So this is not just your, average run-of-the-mill processor. This thing is built for gaming.
Okay.
We're talking, faster frame rates, smoother graphics, even, demanding games like Genshin Impact.
Wow.
It should be able to handle them without turning your phone into, a hot potato.
Okay, so it's not going to overheat.
No, not at
Yeah.
all. And for people who aren't, hardcore gamers, this just translates to, snappy performance for all your apps and just general multitasking. You know what I mean?
So no more waiting for things to load.
Exactly.
I like that. I like the sound of that.
Yeah,
Okay, let's talk cameras.
sure.
Now, the review mentioned a quad camera setup.
All right.
Is that just a bunch of lenses for show, or does each one actually do something special?
No, they all have a purpose.
Okay.
This is where it gets interesting. You've got your 64 MP main camera for those super high resolution shots.
Uh-huh.
Perfect for capturing all the details. Then you've got an 8 MP ultra wide lens.
Okay.
So think sweeping landscapes
Yeah.
or squeezing everyone into that group selfie. You
Nice.
get the wide shots.
Okay, got your wide shots covered. But what about those, portrait shots?
Yeah.
Where you want that, blurry background.
I gotcha. That's where the depth sensor comes in.
Okay.
It helps create that professional looking bokeh effect
Oh, yeah.
where your subject just pops and the background fades away. Yeah. And then there's this monochrome sensor, which you might think is just for black and white photos.
Right.
But it actually captures more light data, which can really help enhance the detail in all your photos.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah. It's pretty neat.
So they're not just, throwing in extra lenses just to have more lenses.
No.
It actually,
Serve your purpose.
it's about control.
Exactly. Options control.
Options. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to something that's super important these days.
Right.
Battery life.
Battery life.
The Infinix Note 10 Pro, it boasts a 5,000 milliamp battery with 33W fast charging.
Whoa.
Big numbers. What do those numbers actually mean in the real world?
Okay, so let's face it, we're all glued to our phones these days. A 5,000 millicar battery, that's like having an extra large fuel tank. You can scroll, you can stream, you can snap photos all day long without even worrying about your phone dying on you.
That's the dream.
It is the dream. And then that 33W fast charging,
Right.
that means if you do need to top up, you can do it really quickly. No more being tethered to an outlet for hours.
That's a game changer.
Definitely a game changer.
Okay, so we talked about the screen, the processor, the cameras, the battery, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
But what about just the overall experience?
Yeah.
The review mentioned dual speakers and a premium feel.
Yes.
Can you kind of elaborate on that?
Absolutely. So Infinix is going beyond just specs here. Dual speakers means you get that stereo sound,
Okay.
which makes a huge difference when you're watching videos or gaming. It's so much more immersive.
Uh-huh.
And remember how we talked about that Helio G95 processor being optimized for gaming?
Yeah.
Well, combine that with those speakers, and you've got yourself a portable entertainment powerhouse.
So they're really trying to create like a complete package.
Exactly.
Not just a phone that looks good,
Yeah, not just a spec sheet.
Yeah.
They want the whole experience to be good.
Exactly. And the premium feel you mentioned, is it just like the design and the materials?
It's the design, the build quality, they're using materials and finishes that really elevate the look and feel of the phone. It's all about exceeding those expectations in the mid-range market.
Okay, now we can't talk about a smartphone without talking about the software.
Oh, of course, the software is key.
This phone runs on Android 11, but it's got Infinix's XOS 7.6 skin on top of it.
Interesting.
So for someone who's not, deep in the tech world,
Right.
Can you explain what is a skin?
So think of Android like a blank canvas. A skin is like adding your own personal touch, different paint textures, maybe even a whole new design. So XOS 7.6 changes the look of the interface, adds some extra features, and can even like tweak the performance a bit.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Some people love all the extra bells and whistles that a skin provides,
Okay.
while others prefer that just like clean, uncluttered Android experience.
Right. So it's like some people want a fully loaded sports car.
Yeah.
And some people want like a classic minimalist ride.
Exactly. It all comes down to personal preference.
Right.
It's
It's all about what you like.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something to keep in mind when considering this phone.
So for someone like me who likes, a little bit of customization, what are some of the things that this particular skin, the XOS, might offer?
Well, unfortunately, the review didn't really go deep into the specifics about XOS 7.6, which is a bit of a bummer. But typically, these skins allow you to personalize themes, icons, fonts, really make the phone your own.
Uh-huh.
And they often include like additional features like gesture controls, power saving modes, or even like enhanced security options.
Oh, okay. So it's definitely worth doing a little digging to see if it's for you.
Yeah, definitely check it out. See if it aligns with your needs. It could be a deal maker or a deal breaker for some people.
Yeah, that's a good point. It really adds another layer to the decision.
For sure.
It's interesting how even in the mid-range market, there's so much to think about.
It's true. There's so many options these days and so many things to consider.
Yeah, and that's what I think makes these deep dives so fun. Like, we're not just reading specs off a page.
No, not at all.
We're trying to understand, what does this phone offer?
Right.
How does it stack up?
Exactly. And ultimately, it's about helping you, the listener, make an informed decision.
Absolutely.
That's what we're here for.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's impressive how Infinix is really trying to, carve out a space for themselves in this market.
Yeah.
It's competitive.
It is.
And they're really going all in on, like, appealing to users who want that premium experience.
Right.
But without the premium price tag.
Yeah, it's a smart strategy, especially when you think about how crowded the mid-range market is.
Oh.
You got your Samsungs and your Xiaomis, your Realms.
Everybody's in there.
Everyone wants a piece.
Everyone wants a piece of the pie.
Exactly. And it seems like Infinix is taking notes from the big players.
Yeah.
We're talking about that big, beautiful display, the powerful processor, the focus on battery life.
Yeah, those are all the things we expect.
Those are flagship features.
That's the exact.
But like you always say, there are trade-offs.
Always trade-offs. You can't have it all.
You can't have it all, right?
Especially not in mid-range.
Especially not in the mid-range, and this Infinix Note 10 probably no exception.
Probably not. The no phone is perfect.
Right.
And the review, for instance, didn't really talk much about the low light camera performance.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that's often an area where, mid-range phones will cut corners.
Yeah, you're not going to get those like fancy night modes.
No.
And super sharp low light shots.
Usually those come at a higher cost.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of the screen.
Yes.
We were raving about how big it is and that smooth 90 hertz refresh rate.
Yeah.
But it's LCD, not OLED.
Right. It is an LCD panel.
So you don't get those super vibrant colors.
You're not going to get those inky blacks that OLED is known for.
Right. For someone who's really into visual quality, that might be,
Could be a deal breaker.
a deal breaker.
For some people.
But, LCD technology has come a long way.
Oh, it has. Yeah. And for a lot of users, it's still perfectly fine.
Especially when you factor in the size of this display.
Yeah, that 6.95 inches is a major selling point.
Oh, yeah.
For people who watch movies or play games,
Exactly.
browse the web.
It's like having a mini tablet.
It's like a little tablet in your pocket. And you can't forget about that 90 hertz refresh rate.
Right. Yeah, that smooth scrolling.
That's not something you find on every mid-range phone.
Not at all. Not at all. And it really makes a difference.
It's amazing how quickly phone technology just evolves.
It's
like things that were cutting edge a couple years ago.
Yeah, just a few years ago.
Now they're trickling down to these more affordable devices.
It's a good time to be a consumer, that's for sure.
It is a win-win for consumers.
More choices, better features.
Better prices.
Yeah, without breaking the bank.
Speaking of competition.
Yeah.
How do you think this phone stacks up against other phones in its price range?
That's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
I mean, as we said, the mid-range market, it's competitive.
Yeah.
To really stand out, Infinix needs to go beyond just, the spec sheet.
Right.
A phone can look good on paper.
Yeah, it's got to feel good to use.
It's all about the experience.
And that's where that XOS 4.6 skin comes into play.
Exactly.
If Infinix can deliver a software experience that's smooth and intuitive, adds genuine value.
That could be a major selling point.
It could set them apart.
Absolutely. It's all about that synergy between the hardware and the software.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the review didn't really tell us a lot about
Get into the details.
that XOS 7.6.
About the user experience.
So is it clunky?
Yeah.
Does it slow the phone down?
Is it a resource hog?
Yeah.
Or is it sleek and optimized?
A big question mark.
It's a valid concern.
Right, some skins, they're notorious for being bloated.
Yeah, filled with all that bloatware.
Apps you don't need.
Yeah, you don't want it.
But other skins, they're really clean.
Yeah, and well designed.
So how can we figure out, if this XOS 7.6 is a friend or foe?
Well, the review is a little light on details, but there are a couple things we can do.
Okay.
First, we can look at Infinix's track record.
Oh.
How have their previous skins been received?
Yeah.
Have they been known for being buggy or resource intensive?
Right.
A little online research might reveal some insights.
Yes, like checking references.
Exactly, like checking references.
Before you hire someone.
Before you commit, yeah. And secondly, we can look to those who've actually used XOS 7.6.
Okay. Yeah. Get some real-world experience.
What are their impressions? Do they find it intuitive, enjoyable to use user reviews, forums? Those can be gold mines of information.
Tapping into the collective wisdom of the crowd.
Exactly, the hive mind. And it's important to remember that personal preference plays a huge role here.
Always, right.
What one person considers bloatware, another person might see as a must-have feature.
It's like coffee. Some people like it black.
Yeah.
Some people like it with all the fixings.
Exactly. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to these Android skins. It's all about finding what works for you.
What suits your taste.
Exactly.
How you use your phone.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think this deep dive has given us a lot to think about.
Yeah, a lot to chew on.
Regarding this Infinix Note 10 Pro.
It's a fascinating phone.
We've explored the strengths. We've uncovered some potential weaknesses.
We've tried to get a feel for what it offers.
And what sets it apart in this market.
Yeah. And more importantly, you've given you, the listener, the questions you should be asking.
Yeah, what matters most to you in a smartphone?
Exactly.
What kind of experience are you looking for? How does this phone fit into your budget?
Those are the critical questions.
Those are the questions to ask.
And the answers will guide you to the phone that's right for you.
One thing that really stood out to me in this review was the emphasis on gaming.
Yeah.
It seems like Infinix is really going after the mobile gaming crowd.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Mobile gaming is huge.
It's only getting bigger.
And Infinix is not just dipping their toes in the water.
No.
They're going all in.
They're diving in head first.
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking Helio G95 processor dual speakers for that immersive sound.
Yeah, gotta have that good sound.
The review even mentioned some software things like game mode and game space.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. And what I think is really interesting is that it's not just about raw power,
Right.
They're thinking about the whole experience.
Yeah, the whole package.
Yeah, creating an environment where you can just get lost in the game.
You don't want distractions.
You don't want lag.
No, you want to be immersed.
You want to be in the zone.
Exactly. And that attention to detail, that understanding of what gamers want, that could be huge for them.
It really could be.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about this XOS 7.6 skin.
We have. Yeah.
I'm still curious about it.
Understandably.
Skins can be a little bit risky.
Sometimes they can slow things down.
Yeah, or they come with apps that you just don't want.
Bloatware, nobody wants bloatware.
You don't need that.
Yeah.
So how do we figure out,
Yeah.
if this skin's good or bad?
Okay, well, the review didn't give us a ton of details.
Right.
But we can do some digging.
Okay.
First, we can look at Infinix's track record.
Okay, their history.
Yeah. How have their past skins performed?
Uh-huh.
Have they been known for problems?
Were they buggy or laggy?
A little online research could be really helpful.
Yeah, it's like checking someone's references.
Exactly. You want to know who you're dealing with, and then we
Right.
can see what actual users are saying.
Yeah, people who have actually used the phone.
What are their impressions of this XOS 7.6?
Right. Is it easy to use?
Do they like it?
Do they enjoy it?
Reviews, forums,
Yeah.
all that stuff can be super valuable.
It's all about tapping into
Yeah.
the hive
Your
mind
hive.
wisdom of the crowd.
Exactly. And don't forget, personal preference is a big factor here.
Oh, always.
What one person hates, another person might love.
Right?
It's all about what works for you.
Like with food, some people like spicy food, some people don't.
Exactly. There's no right or wrong answer. It's about finding what you like.
What suits your taste?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have, yeah.
With this Infinix Note 10 Pro.
It's a really interesting phone.
We've gone over the good stuff.
The strengths.
We've pointed out some things to maybe watch out for.
Potential weaknesses, yeah.
And we've really tried to get a feel for, what this phone is all about.
Yeah, and how it compares to the competition.
Exactly. And hopefully we've given you, the listener, the information you need to make a decision.
To make an informed decision, that's what it's all about.
So as you continue your smartphone journey, remember to stay informed, stay curious, and most importantly, trust your gut.
Trust your gut.
That's right. Don't be afraid to try something new.
Branch out. You might be surprised.
You might find your new favorite phone.
Exactly. The world of smartphones is full of possibilities.
And on that note, that wraps up our deep dive into the Infinix Note 10 Pro.
Thanks for joining us.
We hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.